The Strait of Hormuz, the world's most critical oil choke point, is under unprecedented pressure. And for the global economy, that was supposed to be the worst-case scenario. Because when Hormuz is disrupted, there's supposed to be a backup, another route, another gateway, a second system that keeps global trade moving. But what happens when that backup starts failing too? As of March 2026, that's exactly what we're beginning to see. Because while the world focuses on the Persian Gulf, another choke point, just as critical, is quietly becoming unstable, the Bab el-Mandeb. And unlike Hormuz, this isn't just about oil, it's about the entire flow of global trade. To understand why this matters, you have to look at the map. The Bab el-Mandeb is the southern entrance to the Red Sea, and by extension, the gateway to the Suez Canal. It separates Yemen from Djibouti and Eritrea. At its narrowest point, ships are funneled into tight channels just a few kilometers wide. And through this narrow corridor flows around 10 to 12% of global trade, nearly 8 to 9 million barrels of oil every single day, and a massive share of container traffic between Asia and Europe. But the real significance of this route isn't just volume, it's efficiency. For over 150 years, since the opening of the Suez Canal, this has been the shortest and most economical connection between two of the world's largest economic regions. A ship traveling from Shanghai to Rotterdam can save nearly 2 weeks by using this route instead of going around Africa. That difference doesn't just save time. It defines how global supply chains are designed. Factories produce based on it. Retailers depend on it. Entire logistics networks are built around it. But that system depends on one assumption: that the route is safe. And right now, that assumption is breaking down. As of today, the Bab el-Mandeb is not officially closed. There is no formal blockade, but traffic is still declining. Because in global shipping, risk is enough to shut things down. Following the escalation of the Iran-related conflict in early 2026, spilling beyond the Strait of Hormuz into the wider region, the Bab el-Mandeb has emerged as a new pressure point. Yemen's Houthi forces positioned along the western coastline have warned they may target vessels linked to countries involved in the conflict. Some statements go further, threatening to block the strait entirely, promising to attack, burn, or sink ships crossing these waters. Even without constant attacks, this creates a deterrent environment. Shipping companies don't operate on hope. They operate on risk calculations. And once a route becomes unpredictable, it becomes unviable. And that's exactly what's happening. The world's largest shipping companies, Maersk, Hapag-Lloyd, and CMA CGM, have already begun rerouting vessels away from the Red Sea. These companies represent a significant share of global container capacity. When they move, the system moves with them. Instead of passing through the Bab el-Mandeb and Suez Canal, ships are now traveling around the Cape of Good Hope at the southern tip of Africa. This detour is massive. Up to 2 extra weeks of travel, thousands of additional kilometers, and in many cases over $1 million in additional fuel costs per ship. But the cost isn't just financial, it's structural. Because when shipping routes change at this scale, the entire global logistics network has to adjust. Modern supply chains are designed for efficiency, not resilience. They depend on tight schedules and minimal delays. A delay of even a few days can disrupt production lines. A delay of 2 weeks can shut them down entirely. Factories waiting for components, construction projects waiting for materials, energy systems waiting for shipments. All of them start to feel the pressure. Europe is particularly vulnerable because this route is its primary connection to Asia. When shipping times double, costs cascade across entire industries. And those costs don't stay hidden. They show up in prices, in delays, in economic growth itself. Then there's the Suez Canal, one of the most important pieces of infrastructure in the modern world. Its entire value depends on one thing: ships passing through the Bab el-Mandeb. When traffic drops in the south, it drops in the north. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Transit volumes remain significantly below pre-crisis levels. Revenues have fallen sharply, and Egypt, one of the canal's primary stakeholders, is losing hundreds of millions of dollars. This creates a second-order problem, because reduced revenue means less investment, less expansion, less capacity for future growth. A choke point doesn't just affect ships. It affects the infrastructure built around it. In theory, the world should have alternatives, but in reality, those alternatives are limited. Some cargo can be rerouted over land. Some energy can move through pipelines. But none of these systems can replace the scale of maritime trade. A single container ship can carry tens of thousands of containers. A single oil tanker can move millions of barrels. To replicate that on land would require enormous infrastructure, rail networks, truck fleets, storage systems. Even then, the cost would be far higher. This is the same problem we see with Hormuz. There are workarounds, but none of them are enough. But the most important shift isn't physical, it's structural. Global shipping is no longer one unified system. It's beginning to split. On one side, large, regulated carriers, high-value cargo, safer but longer routes. On the other, smaller operators, higher risk tolerance, still moving through contested waters. This creates a fragmented network, less efficient, more expensive, and far more unpredictable. A system that once optimized for speed is now optimizing for survival. And then there's the cost of risk itself. Insurance. Sailing through the Bab el-Mandeb now comes with a war risk premium, sometimes reaching 1% of the cargo's total value. That means a single shipment can carry an extra $1 million cost just to pass through a narrow strip of water. At that point, the economics no longer make sense, and the route begins to collapse under its own risk. This is where the situation becomes critical, because the Bab el-Mandeb is not an isolated problem. It is directly connected to Hormuz. In a stable world, disruptions in one choke point can be partially absorbed by others. But right now, both sides of the system are under pressure. Hormuz in the Gulf, Bab el-Mandeb in the Red Sea. Together, they form the backbone of global energy and trade flows. If both begin to fail at the same time, there is no real fallback, no alternative system ready to take over, only slower routes, higher costs, and a less stable global economy. Bab el-Mandeb is just a narrow strip of water, but right now, it's reshaping global trade. Not because it's closed, but because it might be. Because global systems don't just depend on access, they depend on confidence. And when that confidence disappears, routes change, costs rise, and the entire system starts to shift. Because the modern world doesn't run on open oceans, it runs on choke points. And right now, more than one of them is starting to fail.